This is the audio version of the Spring 2026 BVA Bulletin, Volume 81, Number 2. The Bulletin is published quarterly by and for blind and low vision veterans and their families. All versions of the publication are available without charge. The Bulletin informs BVA members about their association and the issues that affect them. In this issue, President's Page by Wade Davis. Legislative Update by Leah Rowe. Executive Director's Message by Leah Rowe. Sight Beyond Vision, a Day of Unity at BVA District 1 Gathering by District 1 contributors. A Hole-in-One for Kevin, Cal, and the team. An Unforgettable Ride by Shantina Gibson. Eschenbach improves quality of life of visually impaired veterans. Gruber Insights Ring. Familiar 31 years later. Around BVA. Dog Handlers Give Rise to BVA Ambassadogs by Meredith Buonadegrossa. Impressive Statistics and Accuracy by Duane Driscoll. BVA Programs Update by Dominique Lawless. From the Care Review Coordinator by Richard Lane. BVA Membership Update by Christina Kyle. In Remembrance. Final Thought. 2 photos are featured on the cover. The first of the 2 at upper left depicts 2 men in suits and BVA caps standing in front of a sign on a pole inscribed with Building 108 Visor Clinic and Fitness Center. The second photo at lower right reveals a group of blinded veterans below a sign that states Newport News Transportation Center. White lettering against a blue background above the second photo says Spring Activity, and then Care Reviews District Unity and Hampton Roads. The caption to this photo on the second page reads as follows. Leaders and volunteers from BVA's District 1 brought together association members, their families, and caregivers for a mid-April weekend to remember in Hampton Roads, Virginia. In this issue of the Bulletin, find out more about the unifying recreational and social activities of this unique event, and an update on BVA's reinvigorated Care Review partnership. See page 37 for additional information about the cover. The detailed page 37 captions read as follows. Upper left, BVA National President Wade Davis and National Care Review Coordinator Richard Lane, outside the Houston, Texas, VA Visual Impairment Services, Outpatient Rehabilitation Clinic. The 2 embarked on a full BVA care review of the facility and its services April 8th to 9th. The clinic is located within the Michael E. Dubé Key VIA Medical Center. Lower right, on April 17th, a happy cadre of BVA members from the New Jersey and New York regional groups arrived at the Amtrak station in Hampton, Virginia, for a first-ever District 1 weekend. Shown, back row, left to right, James Draper, John O'Connell, Derek Pollitt, Jeffrey Baggs, and Sonia Bissereth. Front row, left to right, Yolanda Bass, Phyllis Bass, and Blanche Baggs. All hail from New Jersey except for New York Regional Group's Derek Pollitt. President's Page by Wade Davis. Wade's President's Page comes accompanied by the customary thumbnail head and shoulders image. Wade is attired in suit and tie and a BVA garrison cap. There is no photo caption. The write-up begins, Embracing Technology and Empowering Independence. In this issue of the Bulletin, I wish to direct my comments to our senior blinded veterans. As a senior myself, I'm not just sharing information. I'm speaking to my peers, my friends, and yes, even reminding myself. We have lived through decades of change, challenge, and progress, and today we are standing in the middle of another powerful transformation, that of technology. It may feel unfamiliar at times, even intimidating, but it also holds incredible opportunity. For us, learning and embracing today's technology is not just about keeping up, it's about holding on to our independence and continuing to live life on our own terms. The good news is this: technology has never been more accessible. Tools designed specifically for blind and visually impaired individuals are opening doors that once seemed closed. With the right resources, we can read, navigate, connect, and manage daily life with greater ease and confidence than ever before. Tools that open doors, smartphone apps, mobile apps like Seeing A. I can read printed text, identify products, and even describe the world around us. Be My Eyes connects us instantly with volunteers ready to assist with everyday tasks. Envision AI and Era take things even further, combining artificial intelligence with real-time support. In addition, for getting around, accessible navigation tools like Google Maps, Apple Maps with VoiceOver, and Blind Square help guide the way. Accessible devices innovations like the WeWalk Smart Cane can detect obstacles and link directly to your smartphone. Voice assistants such as Amazon Alexa and Google Assistant make it possible to control your environment, check the news, or listen to a favorite book just by speaking. Screen readers like JAWS and VoiceOver give us full access to computers and phones, while wearable technologies like eSight and Iris Vision offer new possibilities for those with low vision. Taking the first step. Adapting to new technology doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't have to. Start small. A simple smart speaker or a single mobile app can be the beginning of something life-changing. Confidence builds with each step forward. You are not alone on this journey. Training and support are available through organizations like the Lighthouse, as well as VA blind rehabilitation centers and visual impairment services, outpatient rehabilitation, Visor clinics. Many devices and services can also be accessed through VA Blind Rehabilitation Service. Your Visual Impairment Services Team Coordinator, VIST, or Blind Rehabilitation Outpatient Specialist, BROS, can guide you. Moving forward together. It's easy to think, I'm too old to learn this, but the truth is we are never too old to grow. We have already proven our resilience time and time again. This is simply the next challenge and, at the same time, the next opportunity. Technology is not here to replace what we've lost. It's here to strengthen what we still have. It helps us stay independent, connected to our families and communities, and engaged with the world around us. So, let's move forward together. Let's stay curious, stay determined, and stay open to learning. Independence isn't just something we had. It's something we can continue to build every single day. Legislative update by Leah Rowe. Leah also has an accompanying thumbnail image that is formatted like Wade's, another shoulder-length shot. Dressed in formal attire, Leah is smiling broadly. There is no caption placed with the photo. Her legislative update reads as follows. On May 21st, the U.S. House of Representatives passed two major pieces of legislation that directly impact the veteran community, H.R. 6047 and H.R. 1041. For members of BVA, these bills address critical issues regarding financial security, caregiving support, and the protection of constitutional rights. Here is an educational breakdown of what these bills do and what they mean for blinded veterans, their families, and their survivors. 1. H.R. 6047, Shari Briley and Eric Edmondson. Veterans Benefits Expansion Act. This legislation focuses on increasing financial support for catastrophically disabled veterans and the surviving families of those who have passed away due to service-connected conditions. Because severe vision loss often requires comprehensive daily care and significantly alters a household's financial dynamic, this bill introduces several vital updates. Key provisions and impact on blinded veterans. Increase in special monthly compensation, SMC. The bill significantly boosts the monthly benefit rate for the most severely disabled veterans, specifically targeting SMC levels R1, R2, and T. For veterans who suffer from complete blindness, coupled with other service-connected injuries, such as bilateral limb loss or traumatic brain injuries, this translates to an additional $10,000 annually. This critical funding helps cover the rising costs of specialized, round-the-clock in-home medical care and daily living assistance. Boost to survivor benefits, DIC. Dependency and indemnity compensation. DIC is the tax-free monthly benefit paid to eligible survivors of veterans whose deaths resulted from a service-related injury or illness. When a heavily compensated veteran passes away, their family often faces a steep financial cliff. H.R. 6047 mandates a 1.5% rate increase over the next 2 years on top of annual regular inflation adjustments. This marks the first major structural adjustment to DIC in decades, providing additional security to more than 500,000 surviving spouses and dependents nationwide. Expanded VA home loan eligibility. The bill reduces the active duty service requirement for National Guard and Reserve members to qualify for a VA home loan from 90 days down to 14 days, expanding home ownership opportunities to thousands of younger or part-time service members. 2. H.R. 1041, Veterans Second Amendment Protection Act. This bill addresses a long-standing administrative issue within VA regarding the assignment of a financial fiduciary and how it intersects with a veteran's constitutional right to bear arms. Key provisions and impact on blinded veterans. Ending automatic reporting. Under policy originating in the 1990s, if veterans required the assistance of a fiduciary to manage their VA benefits or financial books due to a disability, such as advanced age, cognitive injury, or severe physical and visual limitations, VA was required to automatically transmit their personal information to the FBI's National Instant Criminal Background Check System, NICS. This effectively stripped veterans of their Second Amendment rights. Restoring due process. H.R. 1041 permanently prohibits VA from automatically reporting a beneficiary to the NICS database solely because they utilize a financial fiduciary. For veterans to be flagged, a judge, magistrate, or judicial authority must first rule that they pose an explicit danger to themselves or their community. Retroactive removal. The bill also mandates that VA notify the Attorney General to remove veterans from the NICS list who were previously added strictly because of a financial fiduciary assignment, provided there was no judicial finding of dangerousness. Why this matters for BVA members' blindness or severe visual impairment can make navigating complex modern financial systems, writing checks, or balancing accounts highly challenging. Many blinded veterans choose to utilize a fiduciary simply for logistical convenience and administrative support. Asking for assistance with bookkeeping is not a reflection of a veteran's safety or mental stability. H.R. 1041 removes a major barrier to care, ensuring that veterans no longer have to choose between accepting financial management, help from VA, and retaining their constitutional rights. Current legislative status. Both bills passed the House on May 21, 2026 with strong backing from major veteran service organizations, VSOs. To become law, both H.R. 6047 and H.R. 1041 must next be introduced, debated, and passed by the U.S. Senate before being sent to the President's desk for a final signature. BVA will continue to monitor these bills as they move through the legislative process. Executive Director's Message by Leah Rowe. The same thumbnail photo used for Leah's legislative update has been employed here with her Executive Director's Message, again with no accompanying caption. The write-up begins thus: charting our course, vision, growth, and the future of BVA. I am struck by a profound sense of purpose as I look at the incredible strides that we are taking together to strengthen our community. This collective energy is a testament to the fact that BVA is more than just an organization. We are a unified, forward-looking family, actively defining the future of independence for blinded veterans. As your National Executive Director, my commitment is to ensure that our growth is reflected in every member's experience and that BVA remains the premier voice for advocacy, education, and peer connection. Our direction is focused on building a stronger, more inclusive community by modernizing our internal resources and deepening the value we provide to every veteran who joins our ranks. We are moving beyond traditional models to provide dynamic, high-impact programming that originates from within our own community, focusing on holistic empowerment to ensure that every veteran has the tools to thrive through BVA-led initiatives. To support this, we are launching a series of interactive, skills-based workshops designed to tackle the practicalities of daily life with sight loss, ranging from mastering the latest in assistive technology to peer-led navigation of the challenges we face together. Furthermore, we are developing a comprehensive BVA educational video library specifically for our newest members. This series will serve as a roadmap for the BVA experience, offering clear guidance on how to maximize your membership and utilize the vast network of support and fellowship within our own organization. To ensure that these resources are available to everyone, we have been hard at work on active improvements to the BVA website, making it more intuitive and streamlined for our members. These updates are just beginning, as we are committed to rolling out even more enhancements and advanced accessible features in the coming months, to also ensure that our digital home is a gold standard for usability. One of the most exciting shifts within BVA is the organic growth of our interest groups, which recognize that our members are diverse individuals with a wide array of passions. Whether it is emerging technology, outdoor recreation, or specific legislative advocacy, these groups allow for micro-communities to flourish where shared interests lead to lifelong friendships and peer-to-peer mentorship. This internal growth and unity strengthen our collective voice, ensuring that BVA remains a force to be reckoned with on the national stage. When I speak to leaders and lawmakers, I carry the strength of our unified membership with me, as our priorities are the direct result of the lived experiences and the vibrant community we have built here at BVA. Growth requires more than just a plan, but also active engagement from each of us. I am asking you to step into this new chapter by joining an interest group, attending a virtual workshop, or sharing our new educational videos with a fellow veteran who hasn't yet found their way to our doors. We are a community built on the bedrock of shared sacrifice and mutual respect. As we move forward, we do so with the confidence that our best days are not behind us. They are being built right now, through our collective innovation and the unwavering spirit of the Blinded Veterans Association. Did you know? BVA was originally incorporated in the state of New York in 1947, with a headquarters office in New York City, courtesy of generous assistance from the American Foundation for the Blind. Prior to that, the headquarters was quite literally a desk in the corner of one room in a private business establishment known as the Gundy Tea Room, part of a wealthy family estate in Farmington, Connecticut. No information is currently available as to how the BVA leadership secured the opportunity to meet there, but it likely came from a connection at Avon Old Farms, where the association was founded in March 1945. After 3 years in New York City, the official national headquarters was moved to the nation's capital, where it remained in various locations until January 2015. This included the association's ownership of a historic structure in the Chinatown neighborhood beginning in 1987. The sale of that building in 2015 took the staff to rental space in the Washington, D.C. suburb of Alexandria, Virginia, historic Old Town, the subsequent purchase of condominium space in Old Town, and now a return to rental property in the same general area since early 2023. BVA's first move to Old Town Alexandria from Washington, D.C. was facilitated by the Fleet Reserve Association, FRA, which owned a building conveniently located to hotels, restaurants, shops, and public transportation. FRA offered BVA the third of 3 stories for office space and use of its first-floor conference room. The duration of the stay was 5 years. FRA sold that building in early 2024 and, ironically, now has its headquarters 2 floors below BVA in the same building at 1600 Duke Street. Sight Beyond Vision. A Day of Unity at BVA District 1. Gathering by District 1. Contributors. 2 photos accompany this write-up submitted by District 1. The first depicts a gentleman with his back to the photographer. He is attempting to toss a frisbee. A lady is seen standing next to a flag nearly identical to those that mark golf course holes. To the left of the gentleman is another lady coaching and supporting him. The caption states, "Enrique and Laura Sanchez engage in some frisbee disc golf with Monica Gilmore at District 1 weekend." The second photo duplicates the photo on the bulletin's cover. See the cover captions for descriptions and identification of the photo's subjects. The article begins with the following. In the quiet moments between shared stories and the sound of the tide, it became clear that the National Blinded Veterans Association's District 1 gathering was about much more than a meeting. It was a masterclass in community, resilience, and the power of a well-executed vision. By every measure, the April 17th to 19th event was a resounding success. From the seamless logistics to the high-energy atmosphere, The day went off in truly amazing fashion. It wasn't just well put together, it felt like a homecoming where every detail was crafted with purpose and heart. A living legacy, honoring Enrique Sanchez. Perhaps the most poignant moment of the event was the opportunity to honor 95-year-old veteran Enrique Sanchez. His presence was a powerful reminder of the enduring spirit of service. Having made the journey to be with his brothers and sisters in arms, Enrique stood as a beacon of inspiration for every generation present. We salute his lifelong dedication, and we're deeply moved to have him as part of this historic day. The unsung heroes, spouses, and caregivers. While we acknowledge the service of the organizers and partners, a deep well of gratitude is reserved for the spouses and caregivers. Their dedication was the foundation of this gathering. They not only made the long journeys to ensure that everyone arrived safely, but they also participated fully, lending their strength and spirit to every activity. Without their unwavering support, this event simply would not have been possible. A village of support without borders. The magic of the day was amplified by an incredible network of community partners whose contributions were tremendous. State leadership. We extend our sincere thanks to Delegate Virgil Thornton, District 86, for his support of our veterans. We were honored to have his legislative assistant, Thomas Sarsfield, in attendance representing the delegate's office. One vet, one LUV. A cornerstone of this success, their involvement was pivotal. They brought a level of dedication and energy that elevated the entire experience. Veterans of Foreign Wars, VFW, camaraderie. A special shout-out goes to the VFW State Commander and his team. Their presence added a layer of distinguished brotherhood, joined by Commander Joe Perkins and the leadership of VFW Post 321. The Wariskoyak Native American tribe honored us with the presence of their principal chief, assistant chief, and tribal members, grounding the event in local heritage and legacy. Team River Runner traveled all the way from southern Maryland to supply a world-class kayaking experience. Southlight Innovative Behavioral Health traveled from the Fort Liberty, formerly Fort Bragg, North Carolina area, to offer vital resources and support. America's Hope Crisis, one team, provided support and a professional after-action assessment to ensure future successes. Buckrow Beach and Park Team, Lynn Waldrop and her crew provided the stunning location, the fishing equipment, bait and tackle, and the tireless support of their maintenance team. Hospitality and Dining, County Grill and Smokehouse, served a spectacular dinner. Embassy Suites by Hilton Hampton Convention Center. The Landing at Hampton Marina, Tapestry Collection by Hilton. Special thanks to VA nurse Cassie Jennings Wilson, police officer Kevin Wilson, Steve and Olivia Ellis, and the Rushmere CDC, the Heart and Soul. The District 1. Committee members were the engine behind the excellence, working tirelessly to ensure that every veteran felt honored. We recognize the leadership of District 1, Director John O'Connell, New Jersey Regional Group President William Graves, Mid-Atlantic Regional Group President Harvey Guerry, Carolina Regional Group Secretary Monica Gilmore, BVA Auxiliary National President Ken Witt, Carolina Regional Group Sergeant-at-Arms Mason Roosevelt, Carolina Regional Group, Chapter Vice President Luciana Yarborough, Rushmere C, DC Director of Veterans Affairs, Mary Caitlin, Carolina Regional Group, Vice President Jermaine Ford, Dr. J. McLeod, Carolina Regional Group President and District 1 Gathering Committee Chair. More than a meeting. As the event concluded, the sentiment was unanimous. This was a day where barriers disappeared. Through the grit of our committee, the love of our caregivers, and the inspiration of veterans like Enrique Sanchez, District 1 proved that the vision of a connected, thriving veteran community is clearer than ever. It was a day of triumph, laughter, and brotherhood, a benchmark for all gatherings to come. A hole-in-one for Kevin Cal and the Team 4 photos enhance this feature. The first reveals a seated blinded veteran with a guide dog and a lady standing with a tall mascot of an eagle. The caption reads, Kevin Wilson and Ambassador Calvin, Cal with Meredith Buono de Grossa, and PGA Hope Eagle mascot. The second of the 4 photos shows a towel produced by BVA. It contains a portion of the U.S. flag at the bottom, the BVA logo in the middle, and a silhouette of 4 blinded veterans and their dogs at the top. The caption reads, "Golf Towel, courtesy of the Blinded Veterans Association." A third photo, this one a side view, reveals a gentleman wearing a hat, dark glasses, and a golf glove seated in the passenger side of a golf cart with his dog. The latter has placed his front paws directly on the steering wheel. The caption states, "On the right and seated behind the golf cart steering wheel, guide dog Cal appears set to drive Kevin to his next hole at the Chester Valley Club in Malvern, Pennsylvania." The fourth and final image is a group shot of 7 men and a guide dog. The men are all seen standing with the tops of golf clubs clasped in both hands. In the middle of the group is a rectangular structure that takes up nearly as much space horizontally as the subjects of the photo. The structure says PGA Hope on the front. The photo's caption states, left to right, Clinton Slayton, Christopher Houle, Josh Cantrell, John Hupp, PGA Hope Ambassador for Pacific Northwest, Ralph Brown, Kevin Wilson, Ambassador Cal, and Eric Jones. The write-up begins, BVA member. Kevin Wilson, alongside his Ambassador Calvin and 4 other veteran teammates, teed off and scored impressively as part of the PGA, Professional Golfers Association, Foundation's Pacific Northwest team in the 2026 PGA Hope, Helping Our Patriots Everywhere, Secretary's Cup. The May 11th event honored military veterans from across the country at the Chester Valley Golf Club in Malvern, Pennsylvania, ahead of that week's 108th PGA Championship at nearby Aronimink Golf Club. The team and Kevin's efforts, supported by BVA and Meta, finished 1 under par for 6th place out of 12 teams. More than a golf tournament, the Secretary's Cup celebrates veterans and the PGA professionals who positively impact their lives. Kevin was joined on his team by PGA professional and veteran Josh Cantrell, who also manages Moose Run Golf Course in Alaska, and 3 other PGA Hope graduates, Army veteran Clinton Slayton, Coast Guard veteran Christopher Houle, and Navy veteran Ralph Brown. BVA National Director of Development Meredith Bono de Grossa, an eyewitness to the entire event, said the team was honored and humbled to wear branded apparel supported by Meta. After receiving the apparel, they commented that it was better than Christmas, she reported. Additionally, Meta provided Kevin with the Oakley Meta Vanguard glasses to provide accessible play, she continued. For Kevin specifically, being part of the team allowed him to feel a sense of camaraderie, normalcy, and what is still possible after sight loss. Meredith also said that those in attendance couldn't help but feel inspired by the Pacific Northwest team. Of course, Ambassador Calvin stole the show riding in the cart, fetching golf balls and holding the golf club in his mouth for photo shoots. BVA expresses a special thank you to Eric Jones, Pacific Northwest Section PGA Foundation Director, who also served as Kevin's support caddy, known to some in BVA circles who attend other events as a golf buddy, and volunteer ambassadors John Hupp and Jeff Bojanowski, who put the team together, along with Pacific Northwest Foundation player development coordinator Paul Russo. The PGA Secretary's Cup began with an opening ceremony that included remarks from PGA of America Secretary Eric Eschliman and the Honorable Samuel B. Brown, Department of Veterans Affairs Under Secretary for Memorial Affairs. The Pennsylvania veterans of Foreign Wars District 16 presented the colors while the national anthem was performed by U.S. Army veteran Tiffany McKinney. A parachute demonstration was given by all veteran group. At the end of the article is a related side item that has been shaded in the print version. It expresses gratitude to Meta for its sponsorship and reads as follows: "Any way you swing it. Thank you, Meta. When I lost my sight, I thought I could never play golf again." It's a sentiment heard often across the visually impaired community, but stories like BVA member Kevin Wilson's are helping change that. With financial support and a pair of Oakley Meta Vanguards, Kevin used the latest accessible technology to confidently compete in the May 11th PGA Hope Secretary's Cup. His guide dog, Cal, even helped retrieve a few golf balls along the way. Kevin's story is just one example of how BVA members are finding creative ways to thrive in adaptive sports. BVA member Dan Kern has developed a golf system all his own, using Apple AirTags in his iPhone with VoiceOver to locate and line up his target. By holding his phone horizontally toward the ground, Dan can gauge distance and direction before taking his swing. To top it off, he even plays with light-up golf balls. Any way you swing it, golf remains possible and powerful when accessible tools open the door. For the visually impaired community, innovation is doing more than improving the game. It is expanding opportunity, confidence, and connection on the course. An unforgettable ride by Shantina Gibson, President, Louisiana/Mississippi Regional Group. 5 photos accompany Shantina's account of her 5-day bike trip. They are spread throughout the article. The first of these is a side view of Shantina on the back of a tandem bike with the gentleman in the front seat. Both are wearing helmets and light jackets. The caption describes the image as follows: Shantina and pilot Nick Resurrection on day 2 near mile marker 60 approaching the town of Confluence, Pennsylvania on the GAP trail. A second photo reveals Shantina standing with 2 men beside her. Bicycles are seen in the background on what appears to be a balcony or a bridge. Below the 3 is a flowing body of water. The caption says the following: with the journey nearly complete, 14 miles remaining to be exact, Shantina and her crew enjoyed scenic Great Falls bordering Maryland and Virginia. Left to right, Joey Martinez, Shantina, and Tim Quigg. The third of the 5 photos depicts Shantina alone on the same platform above flowing water, as seen in the previous photo. In this image, she is next to her tandem bike. The caption says, Shantina at Great Falls, Maryland, 14 miles from her Washington, D.C. destination. Photo 4 has Shantina and Nick standing together behind their bike in bright sunlight. The 2 are smiling broadly. In the background are trees and other vegetation. The caption reads, Nick and Shantina bask in the satisfaction of a successful 5 days of biking. Mile marker 00 is visible in the lower right corner. The final photo includes 5 people and a dog. They are lined up side by side next to mile marker 0 in bright sunlight that is also casting afternoon shadows. The caption details the photo as follows. Left to right, Shantina's companions and supporting cast, consisting of Nick Resurrection, Aubrey Watrous, Joey Martinez, Tim Quigg, Shantina, Celianne Gonzalez, and guide dog Ollie. Shantina's inspiring article begins as follows. Have you ever envisioned the Yellow Mountains? Come with me as I embark on my 335-mile journey along the Great Allegheny Passage, GAP, trail. About 2 years ago, I decided I wanted to ride my bike along this incredible trail that would ultimately land me in the Georgetown neighborhood of the nation's capital. At first, it started as a simple idea between a close friend and me. We planned to backpack the journey together. But over time, it quickly grew into something much bigger. More people in my life wanted to volunteer and become part of the experience, and that's when this journey truly became a team effort. I then invited another close friend of mine, Joey Martinez, who is visually impaired, to join me on this adventure, and he said, absolutely yes. From there, the process of building our team began. Since I already owned a tandem bike, I needed to find not only a captain for myself, but also another captain and tandem bike for Joey. At first, this seemed easily accomplished. However, after nearly a year of planning, one of the captains could no longer participate, forcing us to postpone the trip while we searched for a replacement. After a series of interviews, a new captain finally joined the team, and we were back on schedule to accomplish this goal in 2025. Then, just 2 days before our launch in Pittsburgh, severe rainstorms caused fallen rocks and major damage along the trail, leaving large portions blocked off. Once again, we had to cancel. With our schedules quickly filling up, 2026 became the new goal, and we decided to ride during the first week of May. But 2 weeks before departure, Joey's captain was involved in an accident and could no longer ride. Once again, we found ourselves scrambling at the last minute. Thankfully, we were able to find another captain who wanted to be part of our 5-person team. Finally, everything was coming together. Flights were booked, bike rentals secured, groceries and snacks purchased, trailers picked up, and Mama Cel, Celian Gonzalez, was driving in from Colorado. Aubrey Watrous was still hard at work handling menus, logistics, route planning, campsites, and shuttle coordination from point A to point B. This was just a small glimpse into the behind-the-scenes work it took to bring this team together. Meanwhile, my tandem bike had been shipped to my pilot Nick's house. Ironically, the bike arrived in pieces, so Nick had to rebuild it himself with help from a local bike shop. But at last, everyone was ready to ride. This became a 5-day journey, and every single day brought new challenges completely different from the one before. One thing about riding a bike is that you always look forward, never backward. So whatever challenges Nick and I faced along the trail, we tackled them with smiles, laughter, critical thinking, and physical strength. The first half of the trail, especially day 2, was the most challenging. We rode 50 miles of slow, steep, uphill climbing to reach the Continental Divide. Once we reached the top, we were rewarded with 23 miles of downhill riding at nearly 25 miles per hour into the C&O Canal Trail, officially completing the GAP portion of the ride. Altogether, it was a 73-mile day. Pulling into camp and hearing the other members of our team cheering Nick and me on was more beautiful than words can describe. Their support was deeply felt and appreciated. Day 3 brought another 72-mile ride along with one of the most difficult obstacles of the trip. A narrow tunnel that was completely dark, filled with potholes and barely wide enough to walk through. We had to get off the tandem bike and carefully walk it through the tunnel. I'd estimate it was nearly half a mile long, and it took us about 20 minutes to safely make it through. Nick not only had to guide the bike, but also guide me safely through the darkness. Since he wasn't experienced in guiding visually impaired riders, this journey challenged him as well, but together, we kept smiling, stayed positive, and refused to let the delay hold us back. Thankfully, there was also an ice cream stop about 15 miles before camp, and we took the time to enjoy that beautiful moment together. Day 4 wasn't too bad, only about 65 miles. What kept everyone motivated was knowing we would be staying in an Airbnb that night instead of camping. The thought of hot showers and a great meal waiting for us gave everyone the needed extra push to keep going. The biggest challenge that day was a detour requiring us to carry the tandem bike up 2 flights of stairs. Nick definitely earned his strength badge, carrying that bike up the stairs while I carefully guided myself using the railing. Then came the final day, the most exciting day of all. The adrenaline was still running through me, and despite how exhausted my body felt, I couldn't believe I was still pushing forward. The entire 5-day ride was absolutely beautiful, and the scenery along the trail was breathtaking. What motivated me most was knowing we were doing something meaningful for others. Having Joey trust me to guide him as my very first veteran was truly an honor. His trust in my biking skills and leadership meant everything to me. This will become an annual bike ride, and I don't know who my next veteran will be. What I do know is that I will give my all every single time so that they too can heal physically, mentally, and spiritually while accomplishing goals they may once have believed were impossible. This ride was for all those who wanted to but couldn't. We love and support every one of our veterans, no matter what physical or mental challenges they may face. We climb together, we ride together, we support one another. This time it was for me through 335 miles of awesomeness. Gruber Insights. Ring familiar 31 years later. An archive historical photo accompanies this historical writing. The image is a head and shoulders photo of a younger-looking lady attired in a formal hat and what is probably a dress that extends to her neckline. Placed on the dress is a corsage. The caption states, Catherine F. Gruber, as she looked in the early 1950s. The article begins, the legendary Catherine K. Gruber advised BVA right from the association's founding in 1945. She continued until her passing on New Year's Day in 1998. Nominated and proclaimed for years as the sweetheart of the BVA, she was a sincere friend and a firm believer in BVA's mission and goals. During her professional career, Kay was a teacher and administrator. A major part of the time was spent with blind and visually impaired individuals. Of all the numerous honors and citations she received for her service, Kay cherished most her honorary BVA life membership. In the early days of the BVA Bulletin, Kay wrote a regular column that was a source of information, inspiration, and humor to blinded veterans and their families. In recognition of her contributions, she was named the honorary chairperson of BVA's historic 50th National Convention in 1995 and wrote an article for the Bulletin's special issue in commemoration of the milestone. Although the article is replete with observations and reflections of 50 years gone by, ending in 1995, Kay may well have written much the same article in 2026. On BVA's 81st anniversary, the Bulletin shares Kay Gruber's 1995 reflections. Congratulations to BVA for your 50 years of continuous service to America's blinded veterans. From the beginning, BVA took as its motto that the blinded veteran may take his rightful place in the community with his fellow man and work with them toward the creation of a peaceful world. That motto has kept the organization in good stead for 50 years. Let us hope that it will continue to do so for many more years to come. It has been my privilege to take part in BVA's growth. Over the years, I have witnessed the many frantic and sometimes bizarre methods by which unscrupulous individuals and organizations have tried to gain control of BVA. But the BVA Board of Directors has always thwarted these moves. Many times, Father Carroll and I bit our tongues and kept quiet while the members of the board were discussing the merits, and the demerits too, of some schemes suggested to them. At times, it was very tempting for the board to accept these offers, especially when the treasury was low. There were times in which the organization didn't know if it was going to survive the next day. At those times, it was a privilege to interpret the philosophy, the program, and the potential influence of BVA upon the general social scene, and thus obtain the financial assistance necessary to tide the organization over the lean years. Yes, the organization has had its ups and downs, its low membership and its high membership, its outstanding regional groups and its recalcitrant regional groups, its good officials and not so good officials, but it has weathered all this without surrendering its underlying standards and principles, which are now stronger than ever. Both Father Carroll and I found it difficult to serve as advisors when some members were of the gimme variety. There used to be quite a few who had weird ideas and concepts. We liked all the blinded veterans, but we certainly had to make our position known about the quality of the wishes of the gimme members. And then there were also the regional groups that mismanaged their own funds or the National Convention funds. These became serious matters. But the national organization always prevailed. It would be most enlightening to read the minutes of the Board of Directors meeting held during the past 50 years. I think we would see a burgeoning organization, at first with a small membership, working its way over the years through many areas of service to blinded veterans, through life and associate life members, through formation of regional groups, through problems with national conventions, through money raising, and through relationships with other organizations. Many of the board meetings were stormy sessions. Someone once said that tempers, passion, desires, and fanaticism are the raw material of judgment. But when they are tempered with sound convictions, honesty, hard work, and consistency in the final judgment, we then have sound results and real growth. BVA has survived the growing pains of the past 50 years and has emerged as a national organization respected in the field. BVA is the envy of many and currently a leader in the philosophy of blind rehabilitation and how to provide service to blinded veterans. Eschenbach improves quality of life of visually impaired veterans. A photo of an assistive technology device taken from an angle accompanies this article. As the photo shows text on the screen of the device, it appears to be a magnification device that was turned on when the photo was taken. There is no accompanying caption, but the Eschenbach name and logo are visible in white lettering against a gray background in the lower right corner. The feature is written as follows. Eschenbach is a leading manufacturer of high-quality magnification and vision-enhancing solutions that can help those with vision loss improve their safety, productivity, independence, and quality of life. The company was founded in Germany in 1913 and, through its Connecticut-based subsidiary, offers U.S. residents who are visually impaired products that they can get from their eye care or vision rehabilitation professional. The company's magnification solutions include a wide range of optical and electronic magnifiers. Optical products include handheld, stand, and spectacle magnifiers that are ideal for near tasks like reading, writing, and engaging in hobbies. Most of these products include LED illumination, like the credit card-sized Easy Pocket magnifiers, which can be taken anywhere and provide additional light that makes viewing objects easier. Other optical products made by the company include telescopes and monoculars, which are designed mostly for distance tasks like watching television, for which the popular Max TV was designed, spotting bus numbers, or watching sporting events. Regarding electronic magnifiers, Eschenbach offers a variety of video products in different sizes and designs. The products include portable options such as the popular SmartLux Digital 5-inch model and the 7-inch and 12-inch Visolux models, the latter having a touchscreen. The company also offers desktop options like the Vario Digital, which comes in 16-inch and 22-inch sizes, with its 22-inch model being the only foldable model on the market. The company's most innovative electronic magnifiers are its newest products. They make use of an iPhone and iPad, common electronic devices that many users already carry around with them, thereby eliminating the need to have two electronic devices, their phone or tablet, plus a separate video magnifier. The Optro and Optro XL work with an iPhone and iPad, respectively, turning those devices into full-featured video magnifiers when needed. The devices are essentially stands that hold an iPhone or iPad and use their own integrated cameras to project their images onto the screens using the product's free proprietary apps from the Apple App Store. When turned on, the Optro and Optro XL give visually impaired users the comprehensive features they expect from a video magnifier. These include features like 14-color viewing options, multiple brightness options, lines and blinds, and even optical character recognition, OCR, that can scan and then read text aloud. On the Optro XL, there is even the ability to customize how the text is shown on the screen while it is read aloud. The text can be digitized and shown in paragraph form, or even as a line scrolling across the screen, and its color and background can be changed as well. The speed and the font can also be adjusted, all changes that can be made to maximize the user experience and improve reading comprehension. Eschenbach's other main category of products is its vision-enhancing solutions, which include absorptive filters and task lighting. Examples of the filters include the Ambilus and Ascensus eyewear that can be used both outdoors and indoors to improve contrast and decrease glare. The company also offers a filter line called Acunis, which is designed for those with light sensitivity from traumatic brain injury and migraines. With respect to task lighting, there are several options available from Eschenbach, including the new LED lamp called Illumentus. This desktop task light is available in either a plug-in or battery-operated version and provides 3 color temperature options and 5 brightness settings. It can be folded down to just 3 inches in height for easy storage. For whatever the task, reading a medicine bottle or book, doing hobbies or crafts, watching television, reading a fast food menu board, reducing glare or improving contrast, or just increasing illumination, Eschenbach has solutions that can help those with vision loss perform these daily activities more easily, thereby providing them with greater independence and an improved quality of life. To learn more, feel free to visit www.eschenbach.com. Around BVA, Davis, Lane Review Houston Visor Clinic, BV. A National President Wade Davis and National Care Review Coordinator. Richard Lane visited the Houston, Texas, VA Visual Impairment Services, Outpatient Rehabilitation, Visor, Clinic April 8th to 9th, to carry out a full BVA care review of the facility and its services. The clinic is located within the Michael E. DeBakey VIS Medical Center. See cover photo. The review was the third of BVA's care reviews of Visor clinics that are part of VA's Blind Rehabilitation Service, BRS. The 2-day evaluations of the remaining 6 Visor clinics should be completed by September 2026. The BVA review of the 13 blind rehabilitation centers, a 3-day evaluation process, is scheduled to begin in October. The visit to Houston was a milestone for both Wade and BVA, marking the location at which he first began his journey with VABRS as a clinic trainee and eventually with BVA as an association member, a staff member working in both Texas and at the national headquarters in Alexandria, Virginia, and now as BVA's national president. Visor is an outpatient clinic at which eye care providers, blind rehabilitation specialists, and other support services work together in an interdisciplinary team to provide low vision care. In addition to low vision care, orientation and mobility, O&M, computer assistive technology, CAT, and activities of daily living and instrumental activities of daily living, ADL/IADL, assessment and training are also available. National membership meeting slated for June 18th via Zoom. Accompanying this bulletin entry is a small black and white rendition of the BVA logo. The text of the blurb begins, pursuant to a provision of the BVA Congressional Charter. Requiring an annual meeting of the BVA members, the association's National Board of Directors and National Headquarters will host a virtual national membership meeting on Thursday, June 18th, 2026. All BVA members are invited to attend. The meeting via Zoom will occur in the current time slot of the National Board of Directors Town Hall at 3 p.m. Eastern Time using the same Zoom link and other joining information. Stay tuned and be on the lookout in the next few weeks for additional details in BVA happenings and standalone constant contact email blast to all BVA members. At ANC BVA HQ, honors those who gave all this entry comes with a photo of two formally dressed ladies standing behind a wreath bearing the name of the Blinded Veterans Association. The lady on the right is holding a white cane. Off to the side on the far right is a gentleman in a suit and tie, also with a white cane. Tall trees are visible in the background. The caption states, left to right, Leah Rowe, Dominique Lawless, and Richard Lane. Prepare to present wreath at Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. The short entry reads as follows.
Memorial Day 2026
brought BVA members throughout the country to a remembrance of the heroism of those who made the ultimate sacrifice of their lives in defense of the nation's freedoms and way of life. Many paid their respects privately while others participated in public events near the nation's capital. At Arlington National Cemetery, ANC, only 7 miles from BVA National Headquarters, National Executive Director Leah Rowe, National Program Director Dominique Lawless, and National Care Review Coordinator Richard Lane represented BVA in the presentation of an organizational wreath to members of the 3rd U.S. Infantry Regiment, also known as the Old Guard, at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, immediately following the 158th Memorial Day observance in the adjacent Memorial Amphitheater. The three also attended the observance in the amphitheater that featured a special Gold Star family reflection by Bill and Karen Vaughn, parents of the late Navy SEAL Aaron Vaughn. The program also included remarks from Medal of Honor recipient specialist 5 James C. McCloughan, President Donald J. Trump, Vice President J.D. Vance, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, and Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff Dan Kane. Music was provided by the United States Army Band Pershing's own and soloist Craig Morgan. Joy, Fulfillment Moves Veterans at NDVWSC. 2 images accompany this account. One is a group photo of 17 blinded veterans and a couple of guide dogs in a large meeting room. 4 veterans are seated on the floor in front, and the remainder are seen standing side by side in a line. The caption reads, Blind and Low Vision Veterans at WSC. Thursday evening meet and greet activity organized by BVA members. A second photo shows another group of 6 standing together, once again side by side. The 4 people in the middle are seen holding up a BVA flag. The caption states, BVA Hampton. Chapter Mid-Atlantic Regional Group, MARG, Secretary/Treasurer. Hardy Alexander, far left, presented first-year WSC Director Alex Mayer, far right, with a BVA challenge coin following the closing ceremony. Others pictured, left to right, National Headquarters Staff. Me, Sean Harrison, MARG, President Harvey Guerry, MARG Secretary/Treasurer Yonica Trent, and Richmond Chapter Treasurer Matt Reed. The brief account reads, Some 44 veterans with sight loss, many of them BVA members, were on the ski slopes, rock climbing walls, sled hockey surfaces, trying out scuba diving, and other recreational rehabilitation and educational activities at the 40th Annual National Disabled Veterans Winter Sports Clinic, NDVWSC, in Snowmass Village, Colorado, April 4th to 11th. The goal, challenging participants to overcome perceived limitations and pursue rehabilitation through sport both during and following the WSC. The blind and low vision veterans also participated in an organized 4th annual meet and greet, organized and hosted by BVA members attending the clinic, drawing some 30 attendees. 4 new applications were completed on site. Congratulations go to Bryson Amaral of BVA District 4 for winning the Novice Snowboarder Award, the second year in a row for a BVA member. Rob Sanchez received the award at the 2025 WSC. The annual event provides nearly 400 profoundly disabled veterans with training and rehabilitation. In addition to vision impairments, the disabilities of the participants also include spinal cord injuries, amputations, and traumatic brain injuries. Approximately 200 coaches, VA staff, and volunteers were on hand to run the activities and support the veterans, both individually and collectively. Despite challenging conditions, warm temperatures, and limited snow, the clinic leadership effectively modified mountain runs, activities, and schedules to ensure success. Unlike previous years, the Snowmass Resort was closed to the public during the week, providing a safer, less congested environment for participants and coaches. This year's clinic also expanded inclusiveness by offering caregiver activities and classes for the first time. Participants also received complimentary CEU, continuing education units, courses, professional massage, floor and wheelchair yoga, battlefield acupuncture, and Disabled American Veterans, DAV, Veteran Service Officer Claims Assistance. Caregivers and staff were available to help with guide dog care, sighted guide support, and other participant needs. Heartland member donates flag at ribbon cutting. James Michael Dunn represented the Heartland Regional Group in donating a bronze braille flag as an integral part of the ribbon cutting of the newly opened VA Community-Based Outpatient Clinic, CBOC, in West Plains, Missouri, a facility of the John J. Pershing VA Medical Center in Poplar Bluff. The ceremonial event, in partnership with the West Plains Chamber of Commerce, took place outside the new clinic at high noon on March 13th, with some 65 guests in attendance. A facility tour and a cake dessert were also part of the program. According to James, the location of the flag has not yet been determined, but it will most certainly be hung in a prominent, heavily trafficked area of the clinic. Lacey McClintock, Chief of Communications and Stakeholder Relations for the VA Poplar Bluff Healthcare System, HCS, first introduced James, who expressed thanks for allowing the Braille flag presentation to be included in the ribbon-cutting event. James then provided background information about BVA's history and service to blinded veterans for 81 years, also summarizing the essence of the Braille Flag Project headed up by BVA members Walt Peters, Georgia Regional Group, and Paul Kaminsky, Florida Regional Group. Poplar Bluff, HCS Director Kevin Bass accepted the flag from James at the podium. James is a veteran of the U.S. Coast Guard and currently an amateur radio operator who received much of his preliminary training as a radio man in the U.S. Coast Guard. Prior to the ribbon cutting, the West Plains CBOC staff transitioned earlier that week to the state-of-the-art facility from an older, less spacious one in West Plains. The 19,140-square-foot new building is 85% larger than the old clinic. According to CBOC Associate Director Libby Johnson, the new clinic will provide expanding specialty care options for rural veterans, an important current priority for VA. Services now include 4 primary care teams, a laboratory, a clinical pharmacist, radiology, an expansion of chiropractic services, physical therapy with a full gym, battlefield acupuncture, mental health, home-based primary care, physical therapy, cardiology, whole health, and a variety of telehealth offerings. Crawfish Boil offers Best of Cajun Food, Centurion Birthdays. This entry includes another group photo in a spacious room. Many people are seen throughout, some standing and some seated. Highlighting the image are 3 individuals who are the most visible at the front of the photo. All are seated. The caption reads, April 18th. Crawfish boil attendees, seated in front row, LA/MS. Regional Group Secretary Lee Mitchell, Centurion Russell Haynes, and Francis Arsenault, all BVA members. The entry begins. April 18th was the long-awaited day for the Louisiana/Mississippi, LA/MS, BVA Regional Group, Incorporated, to hold its second annual Crawfish Boil, sponsored by the Louisiana Seafood Promotion and Marketing Board, Office of Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser. According to Regional Group member Gary Schulerman, the event was well attended by 35 BVA members and guests. Thanks to the Lieutenant Governor and his Seafood Promotion Board, the group was able to keep the cost per individual to a minimum, due to their donation of $300 worth of live crawfish. The event was held at Noah's Cafe in Lafayette. Nathan and his staff did a great job with the crawfish, corn, onions, and potatoes, all cooked and spiced to perfection, although some diners from northern Louisiana and northern Mississippi thought they were a little spicy. No worries, though. They simply gave those people an extra bottle of water. An LA/MS member, Russell Haynes, reached his 100th birthday on January 29th, but allowed the regional group to hold another celebration for him at the Crawfish Boil, since crawfish are not in season in January. Russell was presented with citations and blessings from President Trump, Pope Leo XIV, and Mayor Ricky Calais of Breaux Bridge. He also received citations from Louisiana Senator John Kennedy, Congressman Clay Higgins and Cleo Fields, a proclamation from the Mayor-President Monique Blanco-Boulay of Lafayette, a letter of congratulations from BVA National President Wade Davis and National Executive Director Leah Rowe, and a Purple Heart Medallion and citation from Commander Ron Crowley of the Louisiana Purple Heart Society. Russell also received a U.S. flag that had flown over the U.S. Capitol from Congressman Higgins, and a BVA challenge coin, a BVA cap, a BVA shirt, and a messenger bag from BVA National Headquarters. Additionally, he received a cap and polo shirt with the LA/MS Regional Group logo and a giant birthday cake from the regional group. Russell and his family had smiles from ear to ear, and there may have been even a tear or two. Once again, the LA/MS must thank Lieutenant Governor Nungesser and the Louisiana Seafood Promotion and Marketing Board for their support of BVA and for helping to bring the veterans together to enjoy camaraderie, fun, and good food. The LA/MS president and secretary are searching the regional group roster for the next Centurion, and there's a big discussion on what type of aquatic delicacy will be requested for their next gathering. Remember, you don't have to see to enjoy crawfish. Mourning the passing of beloved Georgia BVA pioneer. A thumbnail photo of a formally dressed gentleman, including a BVA flat cap, accompanies the entry. He is seen with a faint smile. The caption states, Army veteran and BVA stalwart Otis Smith co-founded one of BVA's most active regional group chapters. The content of this around BVA entry reads, Otis Smith, founder of the Columbus chapter of the Georgia Regional Group, passed away peacefully at the Columbus Hospice on April 15th. He was 94. Together with Clifford Jones, Otis formed the Columbus chapter on October 15, 2003, the small organization through which several notable BVA national leaders emerged, including most recently past National President Joe McNeil and past National Secretary Elizabeth Holmes. The Columbus chapter has traditionally been one of the most active in the country. In October 1951, at age 20, Otis entered the U.S. Air Force and retired as a technical sergeant, E6, after 23 years of honorable service spanning the Korean War, the Cold War, peacetime, and the Vietnam War. In a tribute to Otis on his 90th birthday, placed in the autumn 2021 BVA Bulletin, Liz Holmes asserted that Otis held the chapter together all these years with his advice and especially his remarkable memory. His daughter, Cynthia Golden Frazier, referred to her dad as the walking, talking GPS who couldn't see. Link to the obituary below to learn more about the life of Otis Smith, wake and funeral service information, and interment April 30th in Fort Mitchell National Cemetery in Fort Mitchell, Alabama. The obituary for Otis is located at https://www.dignityMemorial.com/obituaries/Columbus-GA/Otis-Smith-12837-847. Woodson recognizes beloved VA employee in Biloxi. A photo taken in what appears to be a kitchen area accompanies this entry. It shows a man at the left having given a package to a lady on the right. She is seen smiling, and with her arm extended across and behind the man, she appears to be on the verge of giving him a hug. The caption states, Anthony Woodson, left, and Susie Hardy with a gifted ambassadog. The brief blurb begins. BVA Interest Group Leader. Anthony Woodson, Bourbonnais, Illinois, has been a recent trainee at the Gulf Coast Blind Rehabilitation Center, BRC, in Biloxi, Mississippi. His account below and accompanying photo describe a person special to the blind and low vision veterans who have attended the BRC. Susie Hardy, an environmental management specialist at the Biloxi BRC, has become a cherished figure within the blinded veteran community. Known for her warm spirit and genuine care, she is widely recognized for the heartfelt hugs she shares as she goes about her daily work. Her impact extends far beyond her assigned duties. Susie consistently goes the extra mile, taking time to assist veterans who may have difficulty making their beds and offering help wherever it's needed. She approaches each task with compassion, dignity, and quiet dedication. What truly sets her apart is the way she connects with people. Each day, she greets blinded veterans with kindness and a hug that many describe as powerful and uplifting. For individuals navigating the challenges of rehabilitation, those small moments of human connection can make a lasting difference. Susie exemplifies the spirit of service, reminding us that healing is not only physical but also emotional and personal. Her presence brings comfort, encouragement, and a sense of belonging to those she serves. Susie's work matters, her kindness matters, and those hugs truly matter too. Virginia Governor appoints Lane to Advisory Council. A 3/4-length photo of a gentleman seen standing against a white background accompanies this entry. He is formally dressed, including a BVA garrison cap, and is utilizing his white cane. No caption has been included. The entry reads BVA National Care Review Coordinator Richard Lane, also a member of the Mid-Atlantic Regional Group, has been appointed by newly elected Virginia Governor Abigail Spanberger to the Joint Leadership Council of Veteran Service Organizations for the Commonwealth of Virginia, the governor's office announced on March 18th. In his new advisory role, Richard will represent veterans and the state and local service organizations to which thousands of Virginia veterans belong. He will serve as a resource and a link to the governor and her staff on current veterans issues and other issues that affect the Commonwealth's veterans. When I think about the more than 100 Virginians whom we've appointed to boards and commissions in just 60 days, I think about what they represent. Wide-ranging professional experience, an unwavering commitment to their communities, and a willingness to serve their fellow Virginians at the highest standard, Spanberger commented. I know these leaders will always put the Commonwealth first as we continue to focus on building a stronger future for Virginia students, families, and communities. Congratulations and kudos to Richard for the demonstrated willingness, commitment, and experience that resulted in his appointment. BVA Executive Director uncovers previously unknown. 1945 photo. The historic photo has been included with the brief article. Although it shows 5 formally dressed men standing together, their positioning is directed inward toward the man in the middle, who is President Harry S. Truman, and who is seen shaking hands with a younger-looking man who is wearing a military vest. Truman and the young man are smiling, but the other 3 gentlemen are sporting serious looks. The caption states, Left to right, James Clive Whitaker, then Senator J.C. O'Mahony, Democrat of Wyoming, President Truman, Smith Shumway, and First Lieutenant and Chaplain Harry C. Anderson. The body of the write-up explains more. Hiram Smith Shumway of Lovell, Wyoming, blinded in the 1944 Normandy campaign and BVA's 3rd National Secretary, 1948-49, is pictured shaking hands with President Harry S. Truman in an official White House Oval Office photo sometime in 1945. The photo's caption does not specify the exact date. During the visit, President Truman also presented him with a red carnation, visible as off-white in the black and white photo. BVA Executive Director Leah Rowe discovered the previously unknown photo, unknown at least to current staff and non-existent in any BVA files, perhaps because BVA was not involved at all at the time, and maybe not even yet established in early 1945 when the visit may have occurred. Leah located the photo in an online archive that has apparently never been carefully searched previously by anyone closely associated with BVA. Because Smith was known to have been at Avon Old Farms Convalescent Hospital in 1944, but is not listed as a BVA founding member the following March, he most likely left Avon before BVA's founding, but became an active member shortly thereafter. Assigned to the 1st Infantry Division as a second lieutenant, Smith landed on Omaha Beach on D-Day, June 6, 1944, and led an infantry platoon in the Big Red One across Normandy, France. On July 27, 1944, the explosion of an anti-tank mine riddled his body with shrapnel and cost him both his eyes. Following 3 years of hospitalization and rehabilitation, he secured employment in Baltimore as a vocational rehabilitation counselor for the blind with the Maryland State Department of Education from 1946 to 1955. He then moved his family to Wyoming to serve as the Director of Services for the Visually Handicapped with the Wyoming State Department of Education from 1955 until he retired in 1985. He passed away in 2011. BVA became aware of Smith Shumway within the past 10 years because of a close friendship he had established with Kurt Ralston, another World War II blinded veteran and later a BVA member at Avon Old Farms. That friendship lasted 67 years, mostly via telephone. Until Kurt's passing in July 2020 at age 101, he frequently telephoned 2 BVA staff members in the communications department to reminisce about Smith Shumway. The story of James Clive Whitaker at the far left of the photo is an incredible one as well. Whitaker was the co-pilot of a B-17 shot down in the South Pacific on October 21, 1942. One of the other passengers on the plane was World War I ace Eddie Rickenbacker, who was on a secret mission for the War Department. Whitaker, Rickenbacker, and 5 others survived the ditching of the aircraft and were eventually rescued after spending 3 weeks adrift in 3 life rafts. An 8th passenger died at sea of exposure. Chaplain Harry C. Anderson, pictured at the far right, was a first lieutenant who served in the U.S. Army during World War II, notably associated with service in Luzon, Philippines. He was a member of the United Methodist Church. A look back at Georgia Convention. Although this blurb is short, it contains 5 related photos. The first shows a lady on the left and a man dressed in formal business attire, including a BVA garrison cap on the right. The 2 are standing behind a small table on which there are small stacks of papers and a few smaller paper bags with handles. The caption states, Atlanta. Chapter Vice President Arlene Kitchen and Chapter Secretary Dennis Darnes distribute state convention gift bags. The second photo also reveals a man and a woman standing together, in this case atop a long rug. Both are in business attire and the man is wearing a decorated flat cap of some kind. The woman on the right has taken the left arm of the gentleman on the left. The woman has a serious look while the man is smiling broadly. The caption reads, GRG Vice President Nathaniel Royal and Atlanta. Chapter Treasurer Curly Kearns walk the red carpet that leads to the event-ending banquet. A third photo also reveals a couple on the red carpet. The 2 are elegantly dressed and smiling broadly. The man on the right is gesturing with his hands while the lady on the left has taken his right arm to guide her. The caption describes the photo thus. Augusta Chapter President Trina Huff and husband Trell lightly tread the red carpet leading to the event-ending banquet. A fourth photo reveals a lady in a long white dress looking down into portable microphone. Because she is in the middle of a floor with no chairs or tables, she appears to be singing. Behind her at a distance is a long, draped hotel-style table where 2 ladies are seated. The table has a massive quantity of flags and paper materials. Hanging behind the table is a large rectangular banner containing the BVA logo, but with the words Atlanta Chapter at the bottom. The caption states, Internationally acclaimed Claudette King and her band provided Saturday evening entertainment. A fifth and final image accompanying the blurb is a group photo of 20 people, 6 ladies seated in the front, and 14 taller gentlemen and ladies standing behind them. The photo extends to 2 columns, but its height is only a fourth of a page. Business casual is the best way to describe the attire. Most in the group are displaying a faint smile. Only 2 white canes are visible with 2 men at the far left. The brief caption states, Host Atlanta Chapter BVA, members and their families at March State Convention. The brief account of the Georgia State Convention begins with the following. BVA members and their families from the great state of Georgia enjoyed a weekend of business meetings and convention fun, March 20th to 22nd. The site was the Holiday Inn and Suites Airport North in Atlanta, and the event was the annual regional group convention, bringing together veterans from chapters in Atlanta, Augusta, Central Georgia, and Columbus. As the host chapter, the Atlanta veterans provided a hospitality suite and hosted the Saturday evening banquet. Attendees numbered 46 BVA members, 55 guests, 6 speakers, and 5 vendors. We also provided amazing entertainment for the banquet with a jazz band, said Atlanta Chapter Secretary Dennis Darnd. Legendary jazz singer Claudette King and her band, along with a DJ, played for us. The entertainment of future Georgia State conventions will be hard-pressed to match this year's performance. International vocalist King, often dubbed the Blues Queen, is the youngest daughter of blues legend B.B. King, carrying on her father's musical legacy with a focus on blues, soul, and R&B. Based in Atlanta and formerly a Bay Area native, she blended her traditional blues with modern soul influences for the BVA gathering. Dog handlers give rise to BVA ambassadogs. By Meredith Buono de Grossa. Meredith's smiling shoulder-length thumbnail image without a caption accompanies her regular Bulletin column. Also included with the column are photos of March Ambassadog Yofi, Dan Kern, April Ambassadog Zeeby, Chuck Miller, and May Ambassadog Calvin Cal, Kevin Wilson. The copy reads as follows. As BVA's National Development Director, my role is to generate the revenue that supports blind and low vision veterans through direct mail, planned giving, private foundation support, grants, and corporate partnerships. I also believe that development is more than fundraising. It's about creating authentic, mission-centered connections between supporters and the veterans we serve. That means using thoughtful cause marketing strategies that meet prospective donors where they are to clearly communicate why BVA matters. Every day, people are presented with thousands of charitable causes, and many decide what to support based on their personal why. A connection, a lived experience, or a mission they deeply believe in. Through awareness campaigns, storytelling, and advocacy, it's my responsibility, together with the BVA team, to strengthen that why and highlight what sets BVA apart. With the support of BVA leadership and members who share a commitment to creative outreach, I'm excited to announce a new personal passion project developed in collaboration with staff and members, the BVA Ambassadog Program. As many members are aware, the Dog Handlers Special Interest Group, facilitated by BVA member Sheldon McKinney, meets via Zoom on the third Tuesday of each month. The group supports blinded veterans and prospective handlers by covering topics such as informed decisions on whether a guide or service dog is the right fit, guest speakers from guide dog schools, care and handling skills, advocacy strategies, practical solutions for public access challenges, including ride shares, recognizing the life-changing impact guide and service dogs provide to blind and low-vision veterans, and the success of the Dog Handlers Interest Group. Our goal was to establish a creative and fun program that could increase guide dog etiquette, advocacy efforts, and target a new demographic. The Ambassadog program was born to expand these efforts. The Ambassadog program celebrates BVA members and their guide/service dogs. While BVA does not certify guide dogs directly, this program highlights the enhanced mobility, safety, and profound companionship these canine heroes provide to veterans adjusting to sight loss. Guide dogs act as natural icebreakers by initiating social interaction, reducing the stigma around disability and serving as a common focal point for conversation in public spaces. While their primary role is to ensure safety, their presence often makes the handler more approachable. They are pretty cute too. The program aims to target a younger demographic including children, families, young adults, teachers, and policymakers. Marketing efforts provide an inclusive opportunity for individual blind and low vision veterans to creatively share the unique traits of their canine heroes. Through creative media, the program highlights the tales of guide dog teams to inspire others and demonstrate how a highly trained service animal can reopen a veteran's world. These dogs serve alongside their handlers as ambassadors for independence, frequently appearing at national conventions and legislative events to represent the unique needs and successes of visually impaired travelers. To build awareness, we share weekly Ambassadog Scoop Series articles, courtesy of Waymo in the BVA Happenings newsletter. Each Ambassadog is featured for a month, sharing BVA updates and personal adventures from the dog's perspective. Program highlights have also entailed BVA Ambassadog trading cards, fun photos, and quick facts about each dog that members can share as a friendly, approachable way to reinforce guide dog etiquette. Our members have shared stories of positive conversations and even trading opportunities while traveling, attending medical appointments, and going about daily errands. Coming this Veterans Day, Barrier Busters. Now for the exciting news, although I am not a graphic designer, collaboration efforts have begun on the development of a comic book or graphic novel that will include accessible codes provided by Navalens so it can be enjoyed by the visually impaired community. Titled Barrier Busters, the book will feature each Ambassadog and their veteran partner, along with a superhero name. The story is designed to support children's literacy while building understanding of guide dogs, visually impaired veterans, and BVA history. This Veterans Day, BVA will partner with Elva Reza to publish and distribute the book, in collaboration with United Through Reading, to approximately 1,500 classrooms nationwide. To date, this is the largest marketing initiative BVA has attempted. As part of United Through Reading's mission, each veteran will have the opportunity to create a read-aloud video with their guide dog. The Ambassadog program is a creative and educational way to introduce BVA to new audiences, but it has also become one of the most meaningful projects of my career. The most gratifying outcome has been the direct engagement with our members, their daily encouragement, enthusiasm, and even financial support. I'm committed to carrying this program forward in ways that are effective, welcoming, and accessible for members at every level of sight. Thank you for allowing me to serve you and your incredible guide dogs. For more information, please contact me at
imbuenodegrasa@bva.org. That's spelled M as in Mike, B as in Bravo, UONODAGROSSA@bva.org, or by phone at 202-371-8880, extension 304.
Impressive Statistics and Accuracy by Dwayne Driscoll. Dwayne's regular thumbnail photo depicting him dressed in a button-down BVA shirt accompanies his write-up for this issue. There is no written caption with the photo. His article begins as follows. On April 16th, VA announced major improvements in benefits processing and delivery with some impressive statistics. In fiscal year 2025, VA processed more than 3 million claims and is on track to exceed this number in fiscal year 2026. Decision makers have increased that pace even more, cranking out more than 1.5 million decisions by early February and lowering wait times for a decision by 43% with more than 94% accuracy. To misquote Mark Twain, there are 3 sorts of lies: lies, damned lies, and statistics, based on equivocation of terminology. What does 94% accuracy mean? Accurate does not mean the rater made the correct, right, or proper decision. Accurate means all the boxes were checked regarding Procedure and Appeals Modernization Act, AMA requirements. In other words, the claim resides in the proper AMA lane, Duty to assist notification letters went out, records were obtained, compensation and pension examinations were requested and conducted with the appropriate provider, and due process periods have expired, in that order, among other items. As impressive as it sounds, 94% accuracy doesn't mean a hill of beans to the claimant, and it seems a bit misleading to throw it out there as a huge success. Really, I think every claimant expects 100% accuracy in the actual physical processing of their claim. I suppose VA had to throw that big number out there to try and distract us from the obvious. More and faster decisions result in more erroneous decisions. Every day we discover rating errors that, frankly, result from rushing through the decision process. Ignorance of compensation benefits related to blindness due to poor training, and failure to review the file. As a small veteran service organization, we find that our workload is minuscule compared to the big boys, and I can only imagine the effect of these major improvements in benefits processing across the board. When we discover rating errors, most of the time they are easy to fix. Sometimes they are not. Either way, our Veterans Service Program, VSP, must spend more time on these claims to get them straightened out. In those cases where we are unable to get errors corrected, we must appeal to the Board of Veterans' Appeals. This also consumes National Service Officer resources, unnecessarily in many cases. In our experience, it takes about 3 years to get a hearing with a veterans law judge, and then another year to get a decision. This will only get worse with all the sloppy decisions being issued over the past 2 years. The decision makers must have better training in claims related to blindness in the areas of special monthly compensation and ancillary benefits. One way to do that would be to centralize vision loss claims to a single regional benefits office, much like radiation and sexual trauma claims are processed. This would allow for some specialized training and theoretically result in decisions that are not only accurate, but correct. To contact VSP, fill out an intake format, https://bva.org/services/benefits BVA Programs Update by Dominique Lawless. Dominique's column checks in with an accompanying shoulder-length photo without an accompanying caption. The text begins, "Forward together, building community, confidence, and opportunity through BVA." Although I've been with BVA only a short time, I've already learned so much about our work, our mission, and most importantly, the staff and members who make this community what it is. Right now, much of my focus is on working alongside our current ambassadors, providing continuing education while also helping to grow our 2026 cohort. These sessions center on peer mentoring, understanding leadership roles, and connecting newly blinded veterans with the right resources as they navigate blindness and VA. They're also some of the most energizing parts of my job, hearing what people want to learn, what they hope to contribute, and how they want to show up for others in the blindness community. At the same time, we're planning ahead, developing lessons, strengthening what already works, and building out the cohort experience for the 2027 ambassador class. Thoughtful planning now helps ensure that each class is practical, relevant, and grounded in what members truly need. I'm also partnering closely with our Team BVA Special Interest Group facilitators to support and strengthen the groups we already have, helping with coordination, inviting guest teachers, and creating more ways for members to get involved. These groups are one of the best ways for me to get to know members and to hear directly what's working well and where we can improve. I've genuinely enjoyed the sessions I've attended, from conversations about spring vegetable gardens, to access technology that supports independent living, to the ways adaptive sports help us stay active. Above all, it's been wonderful to see the fellowship and support members extend to one another. Looking ahead, I'm excited to help create new special interest groups that do more than teach blindness skills. My goal is for these groups to build confidence, encourage curiosity, and maybe even spark a new hobby along the way. Whether someone is revisiting a skill they haven't used in a while or trying something for the first time, there's real power in learning together. As a blind person, I'm all too familiar with others who set low expectations, sometimes in obvious ways and sometimes in subtle ones, by assuming that I can't. I want BVA's special interest groups to be a place where members get to say, "I can." A place to step outside our comfort zones, try something new, and support one another as Team BVA. If you've been curious about joining a group, I hope you'll take the next step and jump in. Whether your interest is technology, gardening, fitness, advocacy, recreation, or something entirely new, there is a place for you within BVA. Together, we can continue building a community that encourages growth, independence, leadership, and meaningful connection. From the Care Review Coordinator by Richard Lane. Richard's write-up about the Care Review Initiative also includes a thumbnail, shoulder-length photo without a caption. He is formally dressed in the photo, including a BVA garrison cap. The column begins, Systemic Challenges and Shared Priorities Across 3. Visor Program Evaluations. Recent evaluations conducted by the BVA Veterans Care Review Partnership reveal a consistent pattern of staffing shortages, accessibility barriers, and clinical coordination gaps across 3 major Visor programs: East Orange, New Jersey, Lebanon, Pennsylvania, and Houston, Texas. These site visits, spanning February through April 2026, underscore the urgent need for structural improvements to ensure safe, effective, and equitable rehabilitation services for blind and low-vision veterans. Across all 3 facilities, the evaluation teams identified critical staffing deficiencies that directly impede program capacity and the operation of fully developed HOPTEL services. In East Orange, evaluators noted that the Visor chief position has been vacant for 4 years, leaving the clinic without a dedicated leader. Lebanon faces a similar leadership strain, with its chief performing dual roles, compounded by multiple unfilled positions. Houston's challenges mirror these trends, where the program cannot function at full capacity without a dedicated O&M specialist, and requires additional VIST and living skills staff to meet the needs of a rapidly growing veteran population. Clinical coordination and whole health integration also emerged as systemic concerns. East Orange and Houston both lack established collaboration between recreational therapy and Visor, limiting access to holistic wellness and reintegration activities. Lebanon's evaluation highlighted the absence of a standardized TBI vision referral pathway, noting that staff awareness of appropriate referral processes is inconsistent. All 3 facilities require improved education for clinical staff on Visor referral pathways. Accessibility and wayfinding barriers were another shared theme. Veterans at all sites reported difficulty navigating key areas such as pharmacy, primary care, and laboratory check-in due to insufficient sighted guide training among staff and volunteers. Each facility was also found to be out of compliance with VHA Directive 1188-1, lacking posted service animal and emotional support animal policies. As noted in the Houston report, the facility does not have a publicly known designated service dog champion with a detailed job description, a gap echoed in the other evaluations. Training and orientation deficiencies further compound these issues. All 3 evaluations call for mandatory sighted guide training and the integration of a Visor overview into new employee orientation to improve internal referrals and staff competency. Finally, logistical and equipment management challenges persist across programs. Each facility requires consistent procurement cycles for assistive technology and priority access to vehicles for community-based reintegration training. East Orange and Lebanon additionally identified outdated equipment in the independent living and CATS departments, requiring immediate modernization. Despite these challenges, BVA emphasized the professionalism and dedication of Visor staff at all locations. The evaluations conclude with a unified call for timely action plans to address these systemic issues and strengthen the continuum of care for blinded veterans nationwide. BV, a membership update by Christina Kyle. A chest-length thumbnail photo of Christina in a dark blouse accompanies the column. The photo is without a caption. The content of her write-up begins, leading the way, enhancing the new member experience at BVA. As I step into my role as the National Membership Coordinator, my primary focus is to ensure that every veteran who joins the Blinded Veterans Association, or BVA, feels an immediate sense of belonging and empowerment. We are currently modernizing our outreach to meet our members exactly where they are, moving away from complex processes and toward a more intuitive, accessible onboarding experience. My goal is to transform membership from an administrative record into a proactive partnership. By refining how we communicate and educate, we are ensuring that no member has to navigate their journey alone. A clear path, Forward, the updated new member. Welcome letter. The first point of contact is the most critical. To make the transition into the association as smooth as possible, I am leading the rollout of our newly updated welcome letters. We have replaced dense, overwhelming paperwork with a streamlined guide that focuses on what BVA can do for you, how to get involved, and next steps. This letter serves as a clear roadmap. It introduces new members to their immediate benefits and outlines the simple actions they can take to get involved right away. Our priority is to ensure the message is clear, encouraging, and easy to act upon. We want every veteran to know exactly who to call and what resources are available from day one. Knowledge is Power, our new educational video series. In tandem with our updated written outreach, we are launching an ambitious educational video series. While the letter initiates the information, this series is designed to give new members a comprehensive look at the heartbeat of BVA, covering everything they need to know to maximize their membership. The video series serves as a digital orientation, highlighting who we are and what we do, an introduction to our mission, and the community of veterans helping veterans. Programs and interest groups. A deep dive into the specific programs we offer to support independence. Regional groups, encouraging members to find and join local chapters for peer support. VSO assistance, how our veteran service officers help navigate claims and VA benefits. Legislative advocacy, insight into how we fight for the rights of blinded veterans on Capitol Hill. And so much more. By providing this information in a high-quality, audio-described video format with transcription, we are making our organization's wealth of knowledge accessible to everyone, regardless of their level of sight. Looking ahead, active engagement is the lifeblood of BVA. By modernizing our welcome materials and creating dynamic educational content that is more accessible to our members, we are building a stronger, more informed community. As I move forward in this role, I am committed to ensuring that every new member understands the full value of their membership, and I look forward to the growth we will achieve together. Of note, record-setting VA infrastructure improvements announced. VA approved a total of $596 million in infrastructure improvements in the second quarter of fiscal year 2026, part of a record $4.8 billion in non-recurring maintenance funds that VA will deploy this year. The funds will be used for vital maintenance, replacements, and upgrades needed to improve operational capability and healthcare delivery. Read the May 11th press release containing additional details, related comments by VA Secretary Doug Collins, and a list of the second quarter projects. The release is accessible at https://news.va.gov/press-room/va-announces- nearly $600 million in infrastructure improvements in second quarter of FY 2026 of note. VA Secretary says EHR deployments occurring differently this time. Over the years, VA deployments of the Federal Electronic Health Record, EHR, have stopped, restarted, paused, reset, and then restarted again. It is no surprise, therefore, that skepticism surrounds the latest deployments among doubters on Capitol Hill, in the press, in the Government Accountability Office, and in the Office of the Inspector General, not to mention the veterans themselves. These parties have all questioned various aspects of the project, ranging from its scope, budget, and timeline to its technology, leadership, and partners. In a March 17th VA News feature story, VA Deputy Secretary Paul Lawrence names several process and leadership changes that are responsible for the unprecedented results. Read it at https://news.va.gov/145-607/what's-different-this-time-federal-EHR/ of note. Seeking greater support and resources, VA joins with Face the Fight, reinforcing its Veterans First commitment for every veteran to access the care, support, and resources they need to reduce veteran suicide and strengthen prevention efforts. VA recently joined the Face the Fight Coalition's annual meeting in Louisville, Kentucky. Several other organizations that were present at the event are already part of VA's Vet Resources Community Network, VRCN, working with VA to support veterans in local communities. The coalition was founded in 2023 by USAA, the Humana Foundation, and Reach Resilience. It has grown to include more than 250 corporations, nonprofits, and community organizations dedicated to raising awareness and supporting efforts to prevent veteran suicide, all working toward the shared goal of significantly reducing this tragedy by 2032. Veteran suicide rates remain 60% higher than the national average, making suicide the second leading cause of death among veterans under age 45. VA's involvement in Face the Fight reinforces its effort to expand suicide prevention beyond traditional clinical settings by building stronger ties with community organizations that veterans already trust and with which they engage. VA announced its involvement in Face the Fight in a press release on March 31st, accessible in its entirety at https://news.va.gov/145844/VA-veteran-suicide-2032/. Of note, grants for transportation to provide greater service to rural veterans. VA recently announced the availability of $7 million in grants for organizations that provide transportation services to rural veterans in counties with fewer than 7 people per square mile. In most cases, such organizations are state veterans service agencies or veteran service organizations that provide veterans with transportation to and from VA or VA authorized healthcare appointments. The funds are made available through VA's Highly Rural Transportation Grants, HRTG program. The primary objective is to break down the geographic barriers to healthcare that many rural veterans face. A VA press advisory dated April 10th announced the grants. Of note, BARD services, vital for book club interest group. This entry is accompanied by 2 graphic logos. One logo is that of NLS and the other of BARD. The text as follows explains the NLS abbreviation, the BARD acronym, and the services NLS and BARD provide to blind and visually impaired veterans. The entry reads as follows. Most of the subscribers to BVA happenings are likely aware that the National Library Service for the Blind and Print Disabled, NLS, Library of Congress, administers a free national library program that provides Braille and recorded materials to people who cannot see regular print or handle print materials. BVA members who have participated in Team BVA's Book Club Interest Group at any point have probably read the selected monthly book using a service known as Braille and Audio Reading Download, BARD, a free online service to blind and low vision veterans that provides access to hundreds of thousands of special format books, magazines, and music materials in compressed digital audio and electronic Braille formats available only to NLS patrons. The site is password protected. BARD contains 200,000 total items. These include significantly more than 100,000 books in audio, nearly 20,000 books in electronic Braille, 20,000 magazine issues, and nearly 10,000 music collection items. Eligibility for BARD must be preceded by an application to NLS. Any resident of the United States or American citizen living abroad who is unable to read or use regular materials because of temporary or permanent visual, physical, perceptual, or reading disability may apply for service. BVA members can apply for NLS service by requesting an application online or by directly contacting the NLS network library that serves their state or locality. They can also complete a printable application form and send it to their NLS network library. Applications are available in English and Spanish. The application must be signed by a competent authority, one of which could be a staff member at a VA Blind Rehabilitation Center, where many blinded veterans are introduced to the service and end up applying. Other competent authorities are medical doctors, doctors of osteopathy, ophthalmologists, optometrists, registered nurses, and therapists. BVA Southern California Regional Group. President Sherry Owen recently reported that a BVA member requested a refresher course and some directions for BARD Express at one of the group's meetings. Sherry recommends a YouTube video entitled BARD Express Basics, available at https://www.youtube.com/watch?. V = MFO 5 VAQKSMM. The video, Sherry said, is extremely useful to anyone interested in securing talking books through NLS. In Remembrance. A shorter than usual, In Remembrance section has offered space for an accompanying photo that appears in color. The photo shows 5 men standing at attention. 2 of the men, one of whom is standing at a pulpit, are in formal military attire and the other 3 are dressed in suits. Directly behind them are 3 U.S. flags and 2 other flags that have been placed in stands. The flags resting in stands are small compared to 2 large horizontally hanging flags that are literally hanging from the rafters and covering approximately 25 feet of wall behind them. The caption states, U.S. Army Chaplain Lieutenant Colonel Kevin Trimble prepares to offer invocation at the 158th Memorial Day observance at Arlington National Cemetery. Behind Trimble, looking left to right, President Donald J. Trump, Vice President J.D. Vance, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, and Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff Dan Kane. The names of the recently deceased that make up the In Remembrance section are as follows. The Blinded Veterans Association deeply regrets the passing of the following veterans: Alabama Regional Group, Batiste Broadus Melvin Lewis, David Moscow, William Pickett Carolina Regional Group, David Shannon Florida Regional Group, John Fortnash Malcolm Molester, Tim Ralph Georgia Regional Group, Otis Smith Louisiana/Mississippi, Regional Group Anvil, Briscoe Willie Gross, Charles Temeta, Troy Williams Mid-Atlantic Regional Group, Craig Van Atta Midwest North, Regional Group Daniel Potvin, New York Regional Group, Kevin Gloucester, Ohio, Regional Group Mabel Amison, Harvey Dean, Melvin Fetty, James Guest, Dennis Hine Peter Homan, Lester Jones, Donald Kurtak, Kenneth McDougall, Nathaniel Moore, Pennsylvania, Regional Group Rewell, Lemon, Puerto Rico, Regional Group Jose Rivera Barris, Rhode Island, and Southeast Massachusetts Regional Group, George Gouin San Diego Regional Group, William Montgomery South Texas Regional Group, Marjorie Isaacson, Southern Nevada Regional Group, Harold Milgram, Washington Regional Group, John Linder, At Large, BVA members, no regional group affiliation, Carl Cranfield, Richard Ham, Edward Kiley, Connie McKinney, Terry Mikesell, Robert Wren. Final thought. 2 color photos accompany the final thought of the spring 2026 BVA Bulletin. The first reveals 2 smiling ladies peering over the front of a kayak. The location is a covered terrace outdoors. Other veterans are seen in the background. The second photo shows one gentleman attempting to pull a kayak off the shore and into the water. Inside the kayak is a woman holding a paddle that she will use once she and her kayak are completely in the water. She is equipped with a personal flotation device. The final thought is expressed with the following. Blinded veterans and their families gathered April 17th through 19th at the Embassy Suites by Hilton Hampton Convention Center in Southern Virginia for an unprecedented but highly successful and well-attended activity weekend. Some 84 BVA members registered for the event. Highlights included adaptive recreation demonstrations at nearby Buckrow Beach, in which Team River Runner, or TRR, professionals provided kayaking fundamentals with participants experiencing tactile instruction and on-water orientation. Pictured here, Phyllis Bass of the New Jersey Regional Group receives tactile instruction on the shape, size, and makeup of the kayak she contemplates using. Also pictured, Jacqueline Himes of the Hampton Roads chapter of the Mid-Atlantic Regional Group reaches the water at Buckrow Beach with the helpful pull of her kayak from a Team River Runner instructor. This concludes the audio version of the Spring 2026 BVA Bulletin and the July program of Visions of BVA.